Hey, I hope you're keeping safe. I'm going to tell you some things with this footage in the background. I go on a really nice walk after I did my makeup, so stick around to see some beautiful flowers as well as hear some beneficial advice. When I went to the doctor after deferring my second year at university with symptoms of chronic stress, depression and anxiety, I was referred to adult classes by my GP. This made me feel so incapable. I'm a second year neuroscientist and I was having to be sent to an adult class to teach myself to get my brain to function in a neurotypical way. The classes that I attended were entitled Meditation and Mindfulness. Now, I'm not here to teach you how to do either of these things, but simply share some learning experiences that may be able to help someone else too. These came in the form of techniques, affirmations, and basic scientific understanding. So I'm going to start by telling you about a technique first that can be used when experiencing symptoms of anxiety or overwhelming negative thoughts. Both of these invade my day-to-day experience, and if they do to you too, this technique may help alleviate those thoughts, even just for a second. It's called the 5-4-3-2-1. You may have heard of it already, and if you have and you don't get along with it, then that's okay. I'm going to explain it now. So you think to yourself, 5 things that I can see. You identify the colour. I can see my red wall. 4 things that you can feel. For me, I like to focus on texture, so I can feel the hard floor. I can feel the soft covers. 3 things that you can hear. Even when alone in a silent room, if you move around, you can hear yourself shuffling around. Try to notice that. 2 things that you can smell. Often I like to say, I can smell the shampoo in my hair. And then finally, 1 emotion that you are honestly feeling. Acknowledge the way that you are feeling. If you get to 1 and you are still feeling restless, anxious and overwhelmed, then my advice to you is to go from the beginning again and use this distraction technique to occupy your mind. It can be adjusted for your preferences. Sometimes I like to only focus on the things that I can feel, and that can get me out of the negative loop that I'm stuck in. This technique is known as a de-escalation technique and may help you disrupt the pathway that your brain is conditioned to go down. The goal here is to disrupt the pathway as early as you can. So when you feel yourself getting stuck in an anxious thought, try to catch that as soon as you can. I'd like to say that these techniques aren't going to take all of your worries and problems away, and you will not be able to catch these thoughts out early, straight away. But the point of mindfulness is to consistently commit to paving new routes for your thoughts to take, ones that do not activate your fight or flight response, and therefore get you out of the mindset that you no longer wish to be in. Now, I'm nowhere near good at this yet, and to be totally honest, I completely forget that techniques even exist when I'm anxious, because it feels like no good can get into my brain. This feeling is not a fact, and we all must find ways to create positive pathways for our thoughts to follow. Your inner voice is not you. You spend a lot of time with it, and if you're listening to this video, it's probably because your inner voice is not very kind to you. This is not you. You are you. Challenge your inner voice and turn the volume down. In 1990, physician and neuroscientist Paul MacLean proposed the idea that our brain is made up of 3 parts. The first being the reptilian brain, composed of the basal ganglia and the brainstem. This is involved with your primitive drives. The paleomammalian, or old mammal brain, includes the hypothalamus, the hippocampus and the amygdala. These are involved with your memory, emotions and motivation. The neomammalian is the third section, or new mammal brain, which includes the neocortex. This is what enables language, abstraction, reasoning, and planning. As I explained, the reptilian brain is involved with our primitive drives. This consists of a few basic things, but mainly do not die and stay in the pack. These two thoughts, especially the second one, can explain the I'm not good enough train of thought, the self-doubt, the fear of losing people, the anxious thoughts that trigger the reptilian part of the brain and send us into the fight or flight response. Your reptilian brain is trying to keep you alive and with the social pack. The reason I have outlined this and tried to explain this theory is because it is important that we do not listen to our reptilian brain and we learn to turn it off. The reality is that it is being triggered when it doesn't need to be and putting you in the position where a physiological experience, like an anxiety attack, is the only thing that it can comprehend because your brain believes that it is under attack. This leads on to the need to distinguish between what has happened and how your brain thinks that it has happened. Your brain cannot distinguish between what is real and what is not. The key to getting out of this, for me, is to think about which part of the brain I am listening to and where my focus is going. I often find it easy to acknowledge that I'm listening to the reptilian brain by stating to myself, I am having the thought that, which makes it less personal. However, I lack the skill to be able to move on from doing that. A good technique for doing so is through body scans, which are designed to relax you from your toes to the top of your head. There are many resources on YouTube and on external apps that provide a body scan talk through for you. The mind, the body, and the breath can influence each other because they are intimately connected. When we learn to breathe consciously and become more aware of the effect it can have, we can use it as a valuable tool to help us restore balance in the mind and in the body. Our breathing is influenced by our thoughts. Our thoughts and physiology can be influenced by our breath. This is why it is such an important thing to use as an object of concentration. Focusing on the breath allows you to become aware of the brain's tendency to jump from one thing to another. Focusing on the breath is a way to develop mindfulness and the power of sensitive alertness. The thing is with myself is that when I'm having an anxiety attack or I'm in a negative loop and someone tries to tell me to focus on my breathing, I want to scream and cry even more. So I really do understand that what I'm saying here is probably something that you're at your wit's end with hearing, and trust me, on God, I am too. But I implore you to listen to the science on this one for the following physical and mental benefits the mindfulness of breathing can have. It can reduce impulsivity, cravings, and addictions, improve sleep, increase happiness and optimism, decrease anxiety and depression, strengthen your ability to regulate emotions, improve trauma symptoms, reduce pain and activation of pain centers in the brain, decrease stress and regulate our body's level of cortisol, the stress hormone. I'll be talking about that in a little bit. Now, okay, I know that sounds like a magic fix to all of your problems, but it is not. That is not the focus here. The focus here is that by implementing mindful breathing to your daily routine, you'll be able to utilize it more effectively when you need to. You will be rewiring the pathway and setting up new routes for your body to go down when it needs to the most. And therefore, the benefits will begin to show in your daily life. I'm really not very good at controlled breathing or any kind of breathing activity because when I'm experiencing high levels of anxiety, I cannot even count properly to make sure I'm doing it effectively. We must all find ways to work around our bad mental pathways and find new ways of utilising the information that we have available to us. The fight or flight response is something I've mentioned a few times now. This is adrenaline. Adrenaline is released in response to a stressful, exciting, threatening, or dangerous situation. It serves to help your body react more quickly by making the heart beat faster, increasing blood flow to the brain and muscles, and stimulating the body to make sugar to use for fuel. Your adrenal glands are found at the top of each kidney. These are responsible for producing hormones such as cortisol, adrenaline, and noradrenaline. The adrenal glands are controlled by another gland called the pituitary gland. When you perceive a dangerous or stressful situation, an adrenaline rush begins in the brain. This information is sent to the part of the brain called the amygdala, the area in the brain which plays a part in emotional processing. When danger is perceived by the amygdala, the hypothalamus is alerted. This is the command center of the brain. The amygdala communicates with the rest of your body through your sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system directs the body's rapid involuntary response to dangerous or stressful situations. The hypothalamus transmits signals through autonomic nerves to your adrenal medulla. When the adrenal glands receive this signal, they respond by releasing adrenaline into your bloodstream. Once adrenaline is in your bloodstream, it does the following. It binds receptors on liver cells to break down sugar molecules called glycogen into smaller, readily usable sugar called glucose. This is what gives your muscles a boost of energy. It binds to receptors on muscle cells in the lungs, causing you to breathe faster. It stimulates cells of the heart to cause it to beat faster. It triggers blood vessels to contract and direct blood flow towards major muscle groups. It contracts muscle cells below the surface of the skin to stimulate sweat production. And it binds to receptors on the pancreas to inhibit the production of insulin. When these things happen to your body as a result of adrenaline, it is known as an adrenaline rush. This is because it happens so rapidly that you may not even be able to process what is happening. This is okay. This is your body reacting to stress. When your mind is full of anxious thoughts and worry, your body is stimulated to release adrenaline and other stress-related hormones such as cortisol. This is why you could be experiencing an adrenaline rush when you are suffering with anxiety. It is not your fault. It is not abnormal. It is a biological response. You may find that your symptoms are worse at night when laying in bed. Often this is where people cannot stop focusing on the conflicts and stresses of daily life. Your brain is perceiving this as stress and therefore triggering an adrenaline rush when real danger isn't actually present. The extra boost of energy you are getting as a result has no use, which will leave you feeling restless, irritable, and unable to sleep. Other things that adrenaline may be released as a response to includes loud noises, bright lights, high temperatures, watching television, using your phone, and loud music can also contribute to a surge of adrenaline at night. I have outlined what adrenaline is and the effect it has on your body to further clarify the importance of learning techniques to counter your body's response to stress. Stress is normal, but over time, persistent surges of adrenaline can damage your blood vessels, increase blood pressure, result in anxiety, weight gain, headaches, and insomnia. In order to control adrenaline, you need to activate your parasympathetic nervous system. This is your rest and digest system. This is the opposite of the fight or flight response. It will promote equilibrium in the body and allow your body to rest and repair. When seeking help regarding anxiety and stress, you will probably be tired of hearing about deep breathing exercises, meditation, and yoga. I definitely am. However, I hope that by explaining what is happening to your body biologically and explaining what needs to be done in order to avoid your fight or flight response, I hope you are able to understand the benefits of these things more. Mindful breathing with practice will allow you to take more control over the adrenaline in your body. To finish this video, no matter what state of mind you are currently in, I would like you to look around the room and perform the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. Implement this as much as you can into your day so it's not just centered around negative mindsets. Do it on the train. No, actually, don't do it on the train. Please stay inside. Do it in your bathroom, the garden, the kitchen. Do it when you're bored and happy and scared. Make it a habit. It helps me to share my 5-4-3-2-1 with somebody else to solidify it further. So yeah, we're gonna do it now. 5 things that you can see. Describe the colour and the shape of them. 4 things that you can feel, noticing their texture. 3 things that you can hear. Rustle your clothes and listen to that if it's silent or nighttime. 2 things that you can smell. And finally, 1 thing that you are honestly feeling right now. This video is compiled mainly of the things that I learn in my adult classes. However, I've added in some extra information to further clarify and understand my points. I will link below where I got this information. Take care, stay safe, and look after yourself above all else. I am proud of you.